How's it going, everybody? This is Gaurav Bhatt. You're listening to Express Sports Podcast. This is 99.94, the best of cricket audio that Indian Express has to offer. Daksh Pandua, unfortunately, is still missing in action, but I have with me National Sports Editor, Mr. Sandeep Dwivedi.
Hi, Gaurav.
कैसे हैं सर? So, first and only episode last week did pretty well. That's what our producers are telling us. Producer Shashank says that, despite a very busy news cycle. So, did you get a chance to listen to it? And, how happy were you with the product?
Oh, I think it was, and if Shashank says it has done well, I'm sure definitely it's done well. We always listen and believe Shashank when he has nice things to say about us. But honestly, it was a very nice episode. As we say that it was a pairing or a duel between Sachin and Bumrah, but it was more about the greatness of the two great cricketers. And I guess it worked out well. And I'm sure we'll be doing more such things, Gaurav.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll have the second entry next week. But the matchup will be revealed at the end of this show. तो इसमें थोड़ा hook है कि थोड़ा अपना बंदा सुनता रहे आराम से. But we have a stellar matchup, so don't worry about that. आज के एपिसोड में we are thinking because this is the sort of feedback that we get from our readers and also from the players. Readers, I'm sure they know that I was in Patiala covering the Ranji match between Punjab and Hyderabad. And even some of the players were very keen on, Indian Express ka reportage and how we cover Ranji matches. So, isme, first of all, from the reader's point of view, I would like to know, you're the person to ask, best person to tell me this. What makes Ranji so special and why is Indian Express so keen on it? And personally also, what makes Ranji special for you?
Yeah, and it's a very reassuring to learn from you when you said that the readers and the cricketers also follow our Ranji coverage. That means the cricketers are also the readers, which is so
That's always good to know.
yeah. That they do read these things. And I think Express, I think we always, every season we've done this and we are always super excited about the Ranji games. And the kind of meetings we have that, okay, this time we need to do this and we need to do that. I think last season we had a theme of, we were going to these small, quaint places. People always talk about how county cricket has these lovely, nice small grounds in villages and all over the place. And I think India had, and I think we had a terrific time doing that series. I think, Gaurav, you went to Dehradun, yeah. Right. So
Hometown.
How was that?
That was pretty good, but, like I wrote in that report, it's still in the nascent stage, right? Cricket in Dehradun, especially because they have international matches, but Afghanistan wahan pe jaake khel raha hai. Right. And to reach this stadium, this particular place, you had to rely on somebody giving you a lift. You had to rely on a good Samaritan. But it's a good exercise, right? Because Ranji going to smaller centers and also these new teams coming in, हमको भी थोड़ा चांस मिला यार नज़ारे देखने का. But more than that, I think it's good that Ranji, एक थोड़ा सा वो होता है ना, revitalizing shot sort of a thing. So that was there.
But I think the prime reason we do Ranji a lot and people or our reporters like to do Ranji a lot is that we are the first one to discover new talent, and that has been a Express USP for a pretty long time. I'm not even talking about the present day or the present team, but I remember I used to work with a gentleman called Mr. S. Santhanam, who was very senior to me, and he discovered Virendra Sehwag when Sehwag was nothing. So he watched him in one of the few early matches, and that's the kind of legacy we need to live up to, and that is a compelling reason that we take Ranji Trophy really, really seriously. But I'm saying beyond that, ask any guy who's covered international cricket for pretty long, and he's so happy to cover Ranji Trophy. The whole very informal kind of a casual atmosphere at the ground where the players are willing to speak to you. There's no too much crowd there. And you get lots of time to watch these upcoming and these players who are also aging to figure out who's coming in, who's going out. And this season I'll talk about, try to understand there is a method to the kind of scheduling we do and the kind of matches we cover. Devendra Pandya, our reporter, went for the first match. It was Bombay versus Baroda. You know the reason for that? Because Prithvi Shaw was playing there. Next match, Mr. Gaurav Bhatt goes to Patiala. You know the reason? Because Shubman Gill was playing there. So these are the kind of things which we keep in mind. Now everybody wants to know about how good is Shubman Gill or has Prithvi Shaw really recovered. So we saw that Prithvi Shaw has recovered, and Gaurav will tell us how good Shubman Gill is, though he didn't bat much in that game. How was it?
I like the accent that you put on my name, Gaurav Bhatt, which thoda formal usme twang aaya hai. But Firstly, when you're talking of method to our quote-unquote madness, if I may say so, even this podcast, ये कोई इत्तेफाक नहीं है कि we started this 99.94 with the Ranji Trophy season beginning, because that has been the entire idea. Because problem क्या हो रहा था कि readers पे the feedback that we were getting, they weren't getting enough cricket, and they weren't getting enough cricket writers to come on the show and speak in the game time show that we have. Patiala का जहाँ तक बात है, I went there. Shubman Gill, unfortunately, he was out for a fourth ball duck. And the wicket was taken by Mohammad Siraj, who's another hopeful, right? So that was another narrative that was built in. But like you said, it's very informal. You can walk up to a player as soon as they're done, and they're willing to talk about it because they are, okay, they are stuck in that sort of transitional phase where they want to make it big through Ranji Trophy and get back into the national fray, right? शुभमन गिल अनफॉर्चुनेटली, जैसा मैंने बताया कि थोड़ा सा दिक्कत था और बात करने में भी थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी, बिकॉज शुभमन गिल,
he's a star in the making. He's already got an agent. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was a problem. But I'll tell you one incident. So the match was over on the fourth day, first session, because Punjab had to take 5 wickets and Mayank Markande, he ran roughshod. So match khatam hone ke baad mein, I just walked onto the field, and Shubman Gill, because he hadn't had a bat, like Punjab batted 1 innings and he got out on the 4th ball. So he was just there in the middle and he was, timing the shots और बच्चों को भेज दिया अंदर की fielding करो थोड़ा ये वो. So I think Sanveer Singh, the pacer, was bowling at him, and I was at point. And this wasn't by accident. I stationed myself at point. Or I was speaking to their coach Manish Bali, and my recorder was towards Manish Bali, and I was asking him questions, but I was looking square at Shubman Gill and how he was batting, because you get that sense of being that up close with this guy, taking guard with him batting, you pick up on a lot of things. So I was seeing how he gets a lot of time. He's very good at balancing himself. तो उसने एक शॉट मारा और बॉल जैसा सरसराते हुए निकलता है. दैट्स द ब्यूटी अबाउट द लेदर बॉल इन द विंटर कंडीशंस स्पेशली. और मैं पूरा रेडी था. सो आई जस्ट ऑन वन नी एंड आई पूरा रिवर्स कप के साथ में आई टुक द कैच एज ऑजी एज इट गेट्स, and then I rolled it back so nonchalantly towards the bowler कि हाँ भाई क्या है ये तो मैंने ही ले लिया इधर catch.
I think you can never ever do such a thing in an international match. You can never ever watch players from so up close, and the bonding which you build during these games, like I'm sure Shubman Gill will remember as the guy who caught me at point when I was training, and I'm sure you need to remind him all the time that you didn't speak to us but I took your catch, right? And I also have a nice Ranji Trophy story that was way back. I think it was mid 90s or something. I think I was covering a match, Saurashtra versus Bombay in Rajkot, which happens to be my hometown. And Praveen Amre had returned from South Africa, and he was that big star, and like everybody wanted to talk to him. Not everybody, nobody covers Ranji, so there are a couple of us. So at least I wanted to. The other guy had gone. He wasn't too keen. So I was waiting for an hour or so, and he said, yeah, I'll talk to you after I bat. And with Bombay batsmen, they never get tired of batting. They can bat the entire day, and I was standing there. So then Amre was moving towards the dressing room, and I said, Amre bhai, ab baat karenge kya? So saying, 1 minute, I want to few more throwdowns I need to do. So I said, fine, go ahead. So then he goes back to the ground, and then he's looking there's nobody to give him throwdowns. And then he suddenly looks at me and he said, hey. So I said, oh God, finally he's ready to talk because no throwdowns. He said, okay, would you mind some throwdowns to me? I said, okay, why not? So for 1 hour, I had to throw down to Mr. Praveen Amre, and then finally I got my 10 minutes of quotes. And so that is the kind of stories I had. Like I remember one more game in Rajkot where the early days of Rajkot, there was a very informal kind of a dressing room. The players used to have their lunch there, and we also used to have lunch at the same time. And I think one of the games we had this lady covering match. So we all, by lunchtime, we are very hungry, and we all move into the dressing room expecting to have this great Gujarati spread. And as soon as we enter with the lady with us, there was a ruckus in the dressing room. Guys were like not dressed, people were in towels, and they were running all over the place. So I'm saying this is the whole charm of Ranji Trophy it is. And I think, say in England, I think they take huge pride in covering their county cricket, and they have this thing about one old man and a dog come to watch it. But that's not the point. But they still take it very seriously. It still gets reported so extensively in the newspaper. And I think that's what we at Indian Express are trying to do.
Absolutely. Even in Patiala, there were spectators. Ek to thand bahut zyada tha, but the spectators were mostly parents or, people who play cricket. तो ऐसा नहीं है, and it's such a small city, Patiala. तो उसमें ऐसा नहीं था इतना. It shouldn't be that difficult for somebody to come to the ground, and it's a very scenic ground. Also, it has a lot of history about it.
Yeah,
But
you wrote a nice piece on that. The kind
Yeah.
of people who have played at that Patiala ground. It's such a storied place it was.
yeah, it was sort of a Ranji come home moment for Patiala. But that's the thing. You mentioned the series that we had last year. This time we're hitting people with nostalgia, with pangs of nostalgia, that sweet sadness. And we had our first piece written by Devendra Pandey, of course, and Tushar Bhaduri. And set the scene a little, Sandeep. What was the match? This is Bombay versus Haryana, 91-92, I think. Yeah, and a great match, 2-run thriller. So please set the scene.
Yeah, so this is this one Ranji Trophy match which everybody talks about, old guys or new guys, whoever, and the players never forget about it. So it was I think, a bit of a background. Haryana was being led by Kapil Dev, a legend at that point, and Bombay was being led by Sanjay Manjrekar, not the legend of that time. He wasn't the greatest of batsmen in that team. We had Dilip Vengsakar and Sachin Tendulkar and Kambli. I think he must have been the 5th, 6th in that lineup, right? So I don't think he will tweet about this. So yeah, that was a terrific match. So Bombay is chasing close to some 400 runs in the last 4th innings, and it still rankles Dilip Vengsakar when we remind him about this match, and it was there evident in that piece where Devendra Pandey is speaking to Vengsakar, and the kind of angst he has about that game still rankles him. And the very funny part about that, not, I wouldn't call it funny, it was really tragic for that matter, because Vengsakar gets run out because of his runner.
Oh, God.
Because of a runner, right? So now imagine, and the runner happens to be Lalchand Rajput. And if you ask anybody on the Bombay cricket circuit, still to date, it's been more than 25, 30 years, they will still tell you that Vengsakar and Lalchand Rajput don't get along till date. In case if you want to invite them home, please ensure that they are not sitting next to each other, right? So it's that kind of a match where I'm sure they have got over it, but still I think it rankles them. So, and it was that one game where Sachin, it was the young Sachin, I think early 90s, where he didn't care about anything, and there's this nice Vengsakar quote which he says that I'm trying to tell Sachin that आराम से 2-3 ओवर खेल ले, हम लोग निकाल जाएंगे. But Sachin of 90s, early 90s, who can stop him? And I think there's the most which has stayed with me, that one line in that story about Sachin getting so excited about that 1-6 which he hit off.
Yeah.
What did he say? Kapil Paji.
Kapil Paji. Yeah. He talks about it. And, just to help our readers, we'll intersperse clips of Deven. There'll be a lot of because, again, but you get the point. Sachin tells Deven how, and the excitement is still palpable in his voice even now. Abhi bolte, हाँ मैंने Sachin Paji को एक मारा. So that means a lot to him, right? And Kapil Paji को. And that means a lot to him because एक तो straight 6 towards the pavilion, firstly. And I think this is off the top of my head, कुछ 75 ball 96. And this is, T20 is nowhere to be found. Abhi limited overs is trying to, अपना जगह बनाने का.
And I started off well. I mean, I attacked everyone. I was able to play some big shots of Kapil Paji also.
Yeah, this you told me.
Yeah. I hit, I think, him towards the pavilion straight for a 6. And then those, I think those were not the T20 days. So it was slightly different when somebody came and hit a fast bowler like that. So possibly those were different days. And then I used to look forward to it because it was so much fun to have, people backing you. Even though it was not an international game, people turned up. So that made our experience a special one. And I always share this with a lot of guys that that phase in the 90s, early 90s, and till the almost late 90s was one of the best phases of my life. I've enjoyed playing cricket so much then.
So for this guy to come out so aggressively in this chase and to give a helping hand to Vengsakar, and Vengsakar obviously was impressed with this young gun, and he was playing so beautifully, but his wicket changed the things a little, I think.
I had confidence that if we bat till the end, they will come close, But Sachin batted absolutely brilliantly, like in out of the world. The way he played that innings was simply outstanding, and he literally, had he stayed for like 5-6 overs more, we would have finished the game.
See, we talk about the importance of Ranji Trophy, and I think we started this episode by you asking that why Ranji is important. Like, Devendra Pandya, reporter, sends a text to Sachin saying that we want to talk about that Ranji game. And imagine, like, he spoke to him for half an hour. This is Sachin Tendulkar, the man who's achieved everything in world cricket. I don't know how many runs he's scored in international cricket, but he wanted to talk about that one Ranji game which mattered to him or to Mumbai cricket or to cricketers in general. So I don't think like it's the whole romance of it, but I think it's the importance which everybody needs to understand, that this is the building block. This is where it all starts, right? Now, if we turn our backs to this level of cricket, I think we're going nowhere with it.
And this was a Mumbai team that has won, I think, what is 75 odd Ranji. I'm sure the number is 30 odd, but and 15 in a row, I think. So for them, it means so much to win a Ranji title, and Haryana was the first, right? And even Kapil says something to Vengsarkar while they met, right? What was it that he said?
The story goes that like Kapil meets Vengsarkar and they are buddies. They've played all their cricket together, and which I think great mutual respect. Like I think Vengsarkar is the guy who's like took on the West Indian fast bowlers in West Indies. So is that caliber of batsman, and Kapil Dev is Kapil Dev, right? The greatest fast bowler we ever had or will ever have, right? And in those days, I think they had a common bathroom in Wankhede. So like both teams. Those are sad days, right? So IPL hadn't happened, and it wasn't happening in the next couple of decades later, right? So they have this common bathroom and they bump into each other, and Kapil tells him, "Arey bhai, tu out ho ja, uske baad we can think of winning." And
ek to jeetne de.
Ek to jeetne de, right? Yeah, that's true. He said ek to jeetne de, and they did win. But I think also we need to understand the importance for Haryana. Haryana is the small side. It's not Punjab, right? So it's the smaller state. Kapil is like one guy who's taken the entire team on his shoulder, as he used to do for India in those days, and they are playing in Wankhede and Bombay. Trust me, they are an arrogant bunch, and like they take them so seriously. They are so full of themselves. They're so pompous. And in those days, as the story goes, all the Vengsarkars and whatever, all Kurds were playing for India, right? And North India has always this grudge about like, yeah, they get their way, and they always Bombay rules Indian cricket. And there they go to Wankhede, which are very not. I think there was Chetan Sharma, but other than that, they were not big names. But
Jadeja was there.
Jadeja was there, right?
Up and coming Jadeja, though even he wasn't that established.
Right. So then there at Wankhede, they go on to win this match. It was massive for them, right? So yeah, these are the kind of stories which you go to Ranji. And I think even in this round, we had this crazy match between, I think, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, right?
Yeah.
So these are the kind of matches which do happen, right? So you need to cover this.
Yeah. True. And, obviously keep an eye out for more such nostalgia pieces in our newspapers. And also we'll be bringing them up after they're published. We'll be talking about them on the podcast as well. But, that's the thing. I think Sachin also romanticizes. And it's a very beautiful thing that you said कि अभी कोई और चीज के लिए सचिन को टेक्स्ट करेगी, सचिन कुछ मतलब आईपीएल ऑक्शन में बता दो क्या ये वो, he won't bite, he won't budge. मतलब it's so like
you're never getting two blue ticks.
yeah, exactly. But this means a lot to these guys, and the fact that he rattles off these numbers like anything, it's imprinted in his mind, like exactly bata raha ki 357 something, and he had those numbers, it's there in his memory. And also he romanticizes a bit, and he's saying not just international cricket, but this was a sort of Ranji atmosphere that he misses, and all these domestic players had this to fall back on. To bring it full circle, Vengsarkar, Colonel himself, he told Devendra Pandey that 30,000 लोग उस टाइम वो मैच देखने के लिए आए थे, अभी 30 लोग भी मुश्किल से नहीं आएंगे. एंड आई वॉज देयर लास्ट वीक, और नहीं थे 30 लोग, नहीं थे वहाँ पे. आप एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स अगर मिला लें, ग्राउंड्समैन मिला लें, पेरेंट्स, होपफुल क्रिकेटर्स मिला लें, तब जाके आई थिंक 30 odd पीपल वुड बी देयर. इसमें अब आई थिंक अ रोल इज ऑल्सो ऑफ द IPL की, especially I was talking to this new generation coming up. We had people like Mayank Markande. There are guys like, there are two Anmols in the Punjab team who are there and thereabouts. They are going to make into Ranji. Mayank Markande, of course, he became a Mumbai Indian star before he even played, the Ranji Trophy season or for India. He got a cap for India. And he also believes that you can get a call-up through IPL now. So he's not diminishing, aisa nahi hai ki he's, talking down about Ranji, but the fact remains that you have another way to the national team. So us wajah se I think there's a possibility that people, especially this generation, don't take Ranji utna.
See, we can even go before IPL, like early 2000 or all. There was no IPL at that point. Even then, there was no crowd at Ranji grounds, right? That has been an issue. And I think now, as reporters also, I think like we've even... it's an almost a redundant and a meaningless story to say there are no crowds at Ranji, because slightly trying to understand the whole economics of Indian cricket, honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, Indian cricket doesn't bank on gate money. It doesn't matter to them people come or not. I think domestic cricket will continue to have, as is the case with county cricket, you don't get full houses there, but at least the circuit is alive. There are these great matches happening. So log ho rahe hain aur cricket wahan pe acha ho raha hai, and there's good quality of cricket happening there. But I think instead of lamenting that log aane chahiye, but it's just an appeal to the cricket fans. Like, I think cricket will go on, domestic cricket will never die if you guys don't turn up, but it's your loss, trust me. I think in India, we have this kind of, mindset where, like, any guy who wears an India t-shirt, once he's playing, only then they're interested. It could be a very imposter, but once he's there on the field, they're super impressed by him. If the same guy is in his whites, playing for his state, playing Ranji Trophy cricket, they're absolutely not interested in him. And I don't know what drives them. Like, you go to an international match, okay, call me cynic or what, but it's a harrowing time. It's a harrowing experience. You go there, you first have to brave the lathis of the cops.
First, make sure that you have enough food and water in your belly.
Yeah.
Pani pee ke gaye ho, wahan mat मांगने लग जाना कहीं.
Or Kotla mein, you need to know somebody very important to get a ticket for starters, right? So I'm saying they do all this. They're like lousy urinals. Okay, they're slightly improved, but it's a horrible experience. But they're ready to go through that experience, and they can go to the same Kotla, laze around in those lovely lawns and watch. I think this season, Shikhar Dhawan and Ishant Sharma are playing for Delhi. You guys can happily sit, laze on the lawns after the match gets over, ask for selfies, they will give you, ask for autographs, they'll happily, for all you know, they will even walk you out of the stadium. So please try to understand, these are if you want to watch cricket, okay, Ranji Trophy. If you want to watch circus, then I think you'll have to wait for a couple of months. We have the IPL starting.
IPL is coming to town. Just to bring it back full circle and sort of conclude this discussion, Shubman Gill, he was wearing whites and there weren't a lot of people, out there for him. But he obliged every selfie request there was. He was there for 15, 16 minutes. And the story that I told when I walked onto the field, the field was open for everybody there, every spectator, koi bhi bacha wahan pe ja sakta tha. So it could very well easily have been you at point, dismissing Shubman Gill and have the story to tell for years to come. But unfortunately, uske liye aapko jana padega. So that is our request through, and this is the entire purpose of this exercise through our print product as well as this podcast also, ki aap log jaएं thoda Ranji match देखें.
I think वो matchup के बारे में बता दो which you had floated.
लोगों ने fast forward करके सीधा यहीं पे ही आए, उनके लिए time waste ही नहीं हुआ. उन्होंने बोला हाँ ठीक है last में चलते हैं.
But before that, we'll take a short break. This episode is sponsored by the Ranji Trophy.
If only that was possible.
I was so excited for a second. I thought actually sponsorships आ गया. Hey, आदमी ना.
Oh God.
Yeah. So the next week's matchup in the fantasy matchup series will be Virat Kohli versus Wasim Akram. That's a blockbuster matchup if there ever was one.
I think it makes sense. It's a year-ender. Virat has had such a brilliant year, or I should say, he has had a brilliant decade, right? And who else but a left-arm pacer from Pakistan?
Definitely. ODI in Sharjah करवा लेते हैं, ये तो मैं कह रहा हूँ.
चलो पक्का.
And there's this one query from our reader. He's very happy with the podcast, last week's podcast. This is Keshav Shankara. And he asked us, on what basis do state associations decide whether a player is local or non-local? Do they have any guidelines? So I told him about Uttarakhand ka scene. Basically, because Uttarakhand mein, you need to have matric ka documents. You need to have, your birth certificate that you were born in Uttarakhand for you to be able to play in Uttarakhand. But I think, Sandeep, it differs from state to state association, right? There's no hard and fast.
Yeah, so it is. So I think it's more of the fact that, okay, there's one state unit, like say Bombay. Now, how many clubs are part of that Bombay? Or let's say Gujarat, which is a classic example of a very convoluted kind of borders there, because there is Saurashtra, there's Baroda, and there's Gujarat, so which are all part of this one state. So I think it's basically you take one state unit, Saurashtra, the kind of district which are with them, with Gujarat. So I think once there are like 19 districts with a certain team. So in case if you're part of those 19 districts, you can play for that unit. And I guess it's the regular thing about... your bona fide or whatever you give to them. That's it is.
He had a follow-up. Is Hanuma Vihari playing as a professional for Andhra? Well, he's born in Andhra. He's playing for Andhra, so I'll wager a guess that he's playing as a professional for Andhra Pradesh. So anyway, thanks a lot for your feedback, Keshav. Do write in, and for all our rest of the listeners, please send us our feedback. It keeps us going, and stay tuned. Listen to Game Time this Saturday, and listen to the Wasim Akram versus Virat Kohli and ODI Sharjah next week. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
You were listening to Express Sports by the Indian Express. This week's show was edited and mixed by Joshua Thomas and produced by me, Shashank Bhargav. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Audio and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.